Hello.
Hello, hello. Going out to all the upstarts, rabble rousers, change makers, and those who are just here for a revolution. You are tuned in to WNLR Neon Lights Roleplay for another episode of The World Within You, our bass boosted, spray paint splattered take on Voidheart Symphony by Minerva McJanda. Let's get that music going. For the next few hours, we will flip between shadows and urban playgrounds, nightmare mindscapes that are all contained within, well, any major city in North America. If you enjoy Persona, Psychonauts, or just seeing the wicked bend before the uncompromising ideals of the young, superglue that dial right where it is. Before the main event, be aware that Voidheart Symphony and the story we are about to tell will be one that meditates on the very real evils, great and small, that people subject each other to. While our players have safety tools in place and a mic in our booth, if you're catching our show across the airwaves, know ahead of time that we might touch on difficult topics. Listener discretion is advised. Do you ever feel uncomfortable? You can always cut the feed and jam out to something that soothes your soul, hopefully rejoining our renegades a little bit later. A couple of important in this episode in specific, we may cover these sensitive topics: familial expectations, schooling and learning environments, the experience of the children of immigrants, absent parents, and digital bullying. That is not by any means an exhaustive list, but those are some things that we will be exploring tonight. I have, of course, prattled on for long enough, and we have a beautiful digital studio absolutely bursting with talent. Let's start in that upper left-hand corner with Leona Maple.
Oh hey, that's me. Hello, my name is Leona, and today I will be playing Mila, our magical girl, South Asian vibes, Mandalas and marigolds, as you can find her on Instagram, on this Instagram that I pretend that she has. Gal Wonder galore. Why not?
Let's kick it over to Michelle.
Hey, it's me, Michelle, and today I will be playing Sushi, who is a cat. And, because I totally forgot to do this, Sushi's going by she/her pronouns today, so please respect those.
Alright, and over to Milan.
Hey, I'm Milan, and today I will be playing Joe. No gods, no masters, no genders, uses they, them pronouns.
Fucking yeah! Let's send it over to Land the Dan.
Do we have to?
Always.
Yes. Hey. I'm Dan, and today I'm playing Scott. Just your regular old dude with a guitar.
Awesome. And finally, last but not least, Tate.
Hello, Twitch. I'm Tate Washburn, and I'll be playing Jordan Karsten, who is probably stolen something or pulled some prank on you, and you just don't know it yet.
All right. And now, without further ado, let's sit back, relax, and transport you to the world of The World Within You. Our camera pans over the city, Etteridge City. A once small sort of urban center by the sea, undergoing a rapid expansion because of a sudden tech boom. These are the last days of summer, perhaps a summer that is going on longer than expected. It's still pretty hot, but in just a few short weeks, everyone knows one of the biggest street fairs of the year is coming to town. And that is, of course, the Halloween Street Fair, a week-long celebration not only of Halloween, but of several different specific cultural holidays. Chief among them, of course, Dia de Muertos. Now, as a part of this, we see the camera showing not only people getting ready for booths and putting out decorations, but also the thing that tends to go hand in hand with street fairs in this city. Groups of homeless people being moved, sometimes by force, out of the places where they are trying to stay in order to make way for this otherwise all-inclusive festival. Now, while that is all happening, and before we let our rebels take the reins on the show, I think Scott is the person who is going to see this next bit happening. You, Scott, are over in the Reality, which is, of course, the bar and lounge run by your good friend Danny Kerr, who is a longtime resident of your sector of the city. And you come in one evening, maybe to perform at a gig of some kind, and you see Danny having a conversation with somebody in a really nice suit. Now, you heard just a couple of weeks ago that a prankster in your class, Quentin Allegra, had taken a video in this establishment and was bragging about it on the internet. And now it seems the concerns have come home to roost. The person in the suit is basically issuing a summons to court for Danny and potentially threatening the shutdown of the business if he does not respond. You're kind of walking in on this scene from outside. What, if anything, do you do when you see Danny being kind of browbeaten in this situation?
I try to stay back and listen in because I don't think anything good is going to come of another miner showing up, or this guy who's browbeating him seeing another miner show up at Danny's bar while he's browbeating him over a miner showing up at Danny's bar. So I'm going to try and avoid drawing any attention to myself.
Yeah, you kind of take your guitar case, listen in, and the conversation is kind of along the lines of
over 21 as I can.
Yes. Yeah. Well, luckily there is like it's one of those venues that has the bar, which is distinctly separate from the kind of like overall area. It is very much a music venue in that sense. So you can kind of, steer clear of the bar, except where it abuts against the rails where you would normally talk to Danny over. And the lawyer, as you very quickly surmise, is saying basically, look, until we have possession of the footage, or until the miner in question states otherwise, we're going to be taking this very seriously, Mr. Kerr. It could affect your liquor license. And Danny's like, all of my employees and I are take liquor control very, very seriously. We would not let minors drink in our establishment. There must be some kind of mistake. Look, sir, that's not for me to decide, right? You've been served, and we expect to see you in court.
Is there any indication that I can pick up on as to who the lawyer is representing, or like who his client is?
Only the city. And it's the kind of thing where the video is not out, so there's it seems like somebody at the city particularly has it out for this establishment, and wants to see it shut down one way or the other. So they are kind of accelerating the process by which you would normally see somebody's liquor license revoked. They've deemed that there's enough circumstantial evidence based on the discussions happening online.
Oh boy. Evidence based on online discussions.
They seem to think that they are going to have a case in short order, for whatever reason.
All right. And does he leave with that?
Yeah. There's a moment of Danny kind of just like sitting there in defeat before he notices you. Hey, Scott, I'm so sorry you had to see that. How's it going, kid?
Hanging in there. What was that about?
Some jackass online is saying he's got a video of one of us serving him. I don't know what to make of it. Well, we do things by the letter. We have to.
I know. Do you think he could have slipped a fake by you?
I mean, maybe. I feel like I'm normally very, very good, and if I even have a question, I'll 86 somebody. It's not. I wouldn't have let him in to the bar area if I wasn't totally sure.
You have any idea who's saying they got served?
I was told it was this kid, Quentin. I think he goes to the same school as you.
Do I need to roll to see if I know him or not, or can I just assume that I know him?
I think you can make that judgment for yourself one way or the other. Quentin it is not a super common name, so if like you had any classes with him, you probably would know him. But it would be the kind of thing where it's like you either have English, or if you're in like the AV club or something, then you would definitely know him.
Do you know the school YouTuber?
You might know.
Old of you to assume there's only one.
Yeah. People have been talking about his YouTube channel, but that's and his Twitch channel, but that whether or not you know him through that and whether or not you connect the two is maybe a very different question. Actually, let's hit rewind really quick. Let's say that it's not even that he knows that it's Quentin. He just knows his internet handle. And I know there's absolutely no way a 16-year-old would be able to get their hands on this handle, but let's just say they managed to get Clown Prince. Somebody online named Clown Prince.
Clown Prince, huh? Now that you think about it, or now that you mention that, the name sounds familiar. I think I might have heard a rumor he goes to my school.
Look, don't get yourself caught up in this. It's, we'll do the adult thing. We'll go through the proper channels. We'll get it figured out. I don't need you worrying about me. I just need you bringing the crowds in.
How am I supposed to not worry? Like, where else am I gonna play if this place closes down?
Judy's on 25th is well, it's seen better days, but it's not bad.
You're really doing a great job selling that place.
Look.
Tell you what, it's high school. People talk. I'll see what I can find out, all right?
Okay, just promise me you won't bring any trouble back on yourself, okay?
Now, when have you known me to ever get into trouble?
Before we cut away, because that does feel like a good spot to cut away, how often do you get into trouble?
I hadn't really thought about it.
Okay. Think about that answer, because the position where you all are in, more and more trouble may find its way to you.
What's your rank in infamy? Maybe that's a good gauge.
Oh yeah, actually. How
Well,
many
we're
ticks
on
have you
the
gotten in
loose,
infamy?
so, like, 2 black marks and a tick.
Okay, so that's... You get into some trouble, is the answer. All right. So, with that opening scene out of the way, we are going to move into the sort of more free play aspect of this session. I'm going to be kind of turning it over to you all. You each have 2 actions that you can take over this next kind of chunk of time. Those actions have already been detailed to you. We've talked about them behind the scenes, but you either get 2 everyday actions or an everyday action and a rebel action. And I kind of want to do this sort of popcorn style, everybody taking at least 1 action before somebody else takes their second. Sound good?
Yeah. I had a quick question, and I might do mine first if it's everyone is cool with that. When a crisis is dire and imminent, how long do I have before that's a problem?
Yeah, so dire and imminent crises will have effects if they are not dealt with before you finish dealing with the current vassal. So, at best, you've got, as much time as you need, maybe even 6 cycles of kind of the normal investigation process. But if things accelerate really quickly, maybe less.
Well,
there's also the possibility that things that you do in the castle might pull trouble back to you in real life.
Well, I kind of like the scene in my head for this, so I might just do something to deal with that crisis immediately with Wolf at the Door.
Okay, could you read the text for Wolf at the Door for the audience?
When you do what it takes to keep the wheels turning, quell a crisis, yours or someone else's. Pick how you do this and what it costs you. You put in the work is one of the 3 options that I was going to use. Where you mark a condition and say what you do and how it gets to you.
Okay, so remind us what your crisis is.
So the crisis I wrote down as no lunch money. As Jordan's family is pretty new to the city, I think that they kind of miscalculated living expenses, and so he doesn't have lunch money from his family. And I mentioned previously that he basically had to pick between stuff he uses for his many hobbies he bounces between or lunch money, and he has chosen the hobbies. I think he has decided, you know what, I can do less of hobbies. I can focus that a bit, and especially with what's just happened, he's like, maybe I'll focus on, it seems like this has something to do with spray painting. And so the scene in my head is this fair that's being set up. Jordan has collected a bunch of his old hobby stuff, especially the stuff that there's not going to be a lot of opportunity to do here. I imagine this is a coastal city, and he came from sort of a mountainous Utah, Colorado area. And so there's a lot of his snowboarding equipment that he used to do. He even has his old fencing equipment, just there's a lot less of that here. Stuff like that, as well as a bunch of old art supplies. I think there's several balls of yarn, some leatherworking equipment, just every other artsy thing you can think of. And he is setting up a stall for this festival that isn't happened yet, but this is the work he's putting in to be I will reduce the amount I have to spend on keeping these things up and also make money to have lunch money again.
Yeah, so real quick, let's start with what condition you're going to mark.
I was leaning towards callous, maybe? Like, he still is letting go a lot of these things, and as he's, like, unpacking them, it's, like, a lot of memories that he's like, well, I'm reasonably not going to do this again, but it still feels not great.
Yeah.
Maybe angry, but those are the two I was leaning towards.
Okay. So, as you've got your, like, little stall set up, just to put it under the spotlight for a moment, I think there's like a younger kid who is a little bit snotty and like, but like clearly from one of the richer neighborhoods, probably like a tech boom kid who just moved here, and they sort of pick up something that you used to have a huge connection to emotionally. What specific item do you sell to them that kind of triggers that mood for you? And they overpay for it. Like, you don't have prices listed on everything, and like maybe you're like hesitant to sell it to them at first, but like they offer you way more than you were expecting to get for it. What little piece do you give away, and what did it mean to you?
I'm definitely not looking up brands of fencing sword right now because I used to have that memorized, but yeah, it's like where Jordan came from. There was like non-profit organizations where you didn't have to, like, if you couldn't pay the fee to be part of the fencing club, you'd like fix equipment and stuff, and that's how he got along. But he did build up enough money to buy like his own gear eventually, and so when this kid comes around, it's like the whole setup. Like, it's the helmet, it's the mask, it's the lame, like the metal jacket. I don't think there's shoes. Like, he's worn through so many pairs at this point. Like, there's not a reason to sell any of those. But the thing that like this kid has handled, and I think part of like the callousness is there's a moment as this kid picks up a foil and it has like a pistol grip, so it's pretty light and swingy, and he's like, for a second, Jordan's gonna be like, don't swing that around, you'll hurt someone. He just goes, kids pay me way more than it's worth. And he just kind of like lets that kid do that. And like, if he gets in trouble, it's his fault. As he watches him do this, he's like,
yeah. And that kid kind of like walks away with that stuff. And while you would like to think otherwise, the camera shows just a few weeks later that stuff is sitting in his closet untouched, and it stays there a long time. All right, who would like to go next? I see a lot of people making faces.
just as a quick
I can go next.
question.
Oh. Tate's got a question, and then we'll go over
How
to
do I
Milan.
change? Like, what do I change in the crisis? Does it go away, or does it just no longer imminent?
Go from imminent to quelled. It could flare back up. Is the big thing there?
Is it still dire?
If it was dire, then it is imminent, not dire anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right, Milan.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything super pressing for Joe right now, so I think they're gonna use Let Your Hair Down.
Awesome. So, who is Joe going to hang out with?
I think Let Your Hair Down is
different. It's a different move. You're totally right. Yeah. It's not check-in. Yeah. So, read out Let Your Hair Down for us.
When you let your hair down, say what you do to blow off steam or find comfort and check against lack. On a hit, mark world and heal a condition. On a strong hit, pick one.
All right.
And I think for the first time in a little while, Joe's actually had some free time to take out their little digital camera and snap some shots just for them. So they end up actually like they paint they tag in places that often get repainted, so they like to preserve what they tag, and so this is just a pretty routine, like taking photos of all of the things that they've done in the past like week or so. And just because like the one that they end up going to a couple of the friends' spots and just taking photos of those for them as well, just because.
Yeah. So before you roll, there's one thing that happens while you're out, which is you go to that beautiful mural that the 5 of you actually worked on all together. Everyone had their little piece that they contributed to it that took you into the castle for the first time. It was this gorgeous opening storybook that showed a gorgeous castle and the smoke and fire from a dragon far in the background. But when you go back, it's been painted over. And it's a really tacky job. And it's not... There's a rule, right, among people who do street art, which is that you don't tag over somebody else's piece. And whoever did this doesn't respect that rule. Because not only is it kind of tacky, it's in black and white. It's all done in stencils. And there's... what it is a picture of a man pushing the paint over your tag, and another man on the other side, both of them wearing these kind of like jumpsuits, basically, hats pulled down low, wagging a finger.
Would I know what some of this inspiration may come from? Just like visually?
Visually, it looks like a Banksy.
But it's like a knockoff, kind of?
Whoever this artist is very talented at doing, this specific, like, style of work. I wouldn't say it's, like, a shittier looking Banksy, but it, if Banksy is a bad riff on Blake Lerat, that's an actual graffiti opinion, sue me. Then this is the Banksy to somebody else's Lerat. It's a Banksy's Banksy, if you will.
Got it. I think Joe just looks at this and they have to like take a moment not to immediately like retaliate and just spray all over it, but they don't end up snapping a photo.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, go ahead and give us that roll. Check against lack, please.
That is a weak hit.
Weak hit. Great. So you get to mark world and heal a condition. Which condition are you going to heal?
I actually did not have any conditions at the moment. I think Joe was just mostly just had the time and wanted to do so.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and mark world then, and we will scoot along. Who would like to go next?
I can go.
That's a Sushi. Take it away.
Yeah. So, I figured Sushi is doing sushi things, which is reading the wind and just going about their daily lives because she is... Well, I mean, she can't nap at her favorite spot right now, so it's just, walking around the city. Time to go. So read the wind is, if you'd like me to read it out.
Yeah, please.
Is when you step back to get a sense of the city, set the scene of, going through your daily life, and I get to pick a detail to introduce to this scene. And I think... You know what, why not? Let's go with a new way your target's hurting people.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Sushi's gonna get the nuance of this, but
That's fine. Go ahead and frame your scene. Tell us what Sushi's up to and where this is happening, and I will let you know.
Alright. So it's Is this school day? Just want to double check with you guys. Is
it this says, the game says day. We're gonna play a little bit looser with time. Time will expand and contract as is convenient for our storytelling.
All right, so because I was thinking, so Sushi does sort of like a patrol through the whole city, right? And this is probably why people just randomly take photos of Sushi whenever she's just walking through. And this particular day, Sushi is just strolling through the middle of the rest of the team's school, like just walked straight across, does not care about the gate, is probably in the middle of the courtyard and getting stared at, and distracting a bunch of students. And I think the bell has just rung for lunch, and Sushi has smelled the cafeteria food and is off to go to find some scraps. Does not care, is walking into the school building.
Yeah, okay. So, as you kind of walk in, as there always is, right, in a big school cafeteria, there are the people who are eating lunch all at the tables, the well-established social cliques, and there are people who don't feel comfortable doing that for one reason or the other. You get chased out of the cafeteria relatively quickly. There's a hall monitor there. One of the office ladies shoos you out. Not in here, Kitty. Yeah. But a little ways away, you get you kind of hear something and smell some really yummy food. But what you hear is somebody kind of crying and looking at their phone. But you can smell that they have very, very delicious. What would draw Sushi? Is this fish and chips day? Is this beef stroganoff being smelled? Fried chicken?
Tuna salad.
Hell yeah. Cafeteria makes mean tuna salad. And you smell that tuna salad. And it kind of pulls you closer. And so there is a nerdy looking girl kind of tucked behind one of the doors that leads to these outside corridors. I like to think of this school as being built kind of like a California school, where there are maybe some covered walkways in between different parts. But she's kind of tucked into this little courtyard. And there's something on her phone that's very clearly bothering her as she kind of doesn't feel like touching her lunch. But she notices you as you trot up. What do you do?
She sort of just first looks at the very, very, very tempting chicken salad that I'm imagining is on a paper, one of those crappy cafeteria paper plates on the floor.
Yeah, there's the cafeteria tray, but then it's also the paper plate, because why give people one thing when you can give them two things? And she kind of collects herself, likes cats, and is like, oh, and she scoops out a blob of this tuna salad and kind of offers it to you on the tip of her finger, sniffling as she does so.
Sushi will just lick it off, and then sort of. Sushi's not used to crying humans. It's a little. It's a very salty sort of smell is in the air. So Sushi will just quick lick it off her fingers, and then sort of just scramble up her shoulder to just lick off the tear.
And she laughs and kind of sets her phone down as she makes sure that you don't fall over. And I think on the screen you can see kind of a TikTok style video or like a Vine style video. I don't think it helps anybody to fixate on the kinds of things that teenage girls get bullied for, but there's a really unflattering video of a very embarrassing moment, and the numbers on it keep going up. And you see that the account that posted it is, once again, the Clown Prince.
I think Sushi will just sort of like Sushi's not gonna attempt to speak to this sad human, but I think Sushi's gonna like sort of like hop off and then like sort of like just like paw really like paw at this stupid electronic thing screen that like and just like I think like Sushi's gonna like keep pressing buttons until like it just moves somewhere else and just pop.
Yeah, you very quickly like tap at the screen until it's swiped away, and then something else comes on, and the girl is like, "Kitty, no," and kind of pulls you away, looks at the video, and it's something that she actually wants to see for a change. She smiles and laughs, and it's not a fix to the situation, but she's not sitting in that feeling anymore. So, the information, as you asked for it, is your target does a lot of videos that do really, really well on social media, but almost all of them are at the expense of somebody else's social standing in the school, and often are really, really hurtful to those people. Who would like to go next? Is there anything, actually, before we move on, is there anything that you want to finish up with there?
I mean, I think Sushi's just gonna look incredibly smug. Like, there's probably some like, you know how like tuna salad's made with like a bunch of mayonnaise. You've got like Sushi like has like a little mayonnaise mustache around like their mouth, and it's just gonna like just pad away in like this very like a very proud like sort of just like that cat movement where they're just so smug. And like the tail just flicks a little bit. Yeah, they're like they just walk off that way.
Yeah, just strut away. And then with a hop, skip, and a jump, you're walking across the roof towards other different spots, either at the school or elsewhere. All right, who would like to go next?
I'm down to go.
Okay. What everyday action would you like to take,
Oh,
or other action? Right.
Well, let me tell you, I do have a thing that's like concerning me. It's I scrolled away from it, inconveniently. It's a crisis. I'm dire and imminent.
Yes. So you are experiencing a dire crisis. What is the nature of that crisis? Uh-oh. We've got a frozen Leona.
There may
Is
be.
that the crisis?
Grounded.
Up, we're starting to. Up.
She's starting to catch back
Am I
up.
back?
Yeah, vocally, yes. Visually,
Although you're doing an
not
excellent,
yet.
you're doing an excellent thinking pose still. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, moved a little.
Damn.
Slow chin stroking.
Let's give Leona a moment to sort that out. Dan, what would you like to do for your first action?
For my first action, I think I will also let my hair down a bit. Because I have a condition that I would like to get rid of.
Awesome.
And let's just say that the situation with Danny and the fallout from entering the castle the first time have given me the need to relieve some stress, I guess.
Absolutely. So, what do you do to relieve stress in this situation?
Well, there is a place that Scott likes to go. Since you mentioned that the city was similar to Seattle, it would be something like the Space Needle, but that's in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
But
Nailed it.
A high place where he can be by himself and just look out over the city.
Cool. Yeah. Anybody got a good name for a building off the top of their head?
Sunset Heights?
The Interstellar Pin.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I was gonna say the
On the
Defiant
nose with
building,
it.
but
How about we call it? I kind of like the calling it like Sunset Tower. So
yeah.
you're up at the top of Sunset Tower.
Yes.
Go ahead. And if there's any details that you want to add to the scene right now, awesome. Otherwise, feel free to go ahead and roll against lack.
Oh, a hit.
Hey.
I think that's a strong hit.
That is indeed a strong hit. So,
down all the way for me.
in addition to marking world and healing a condition, what condition are you healing?
I am healing overwhelmed.
Awesome. So, you kind of looking out over the sunset scape of the city. Sunset Tower is on the east end of Etteridge City, and therefore, like, it has the most gorgeous views as the sun is going down. And as you kind of watch the world tick by and watch the sun sink down, you get to pick one of the following. You can see someone unexpected, adding a new link for an NPC on the relationship map. You can make a new friend, gaining somebody as a minor covenant. Or you can just find it particularly healing and refresh one of your gauges.
Okay. I like the idea of making a new friend. So do I get to say, or do I get to say who it is, or do you have something in mind?
I don't think I have anything in mind right now. I think actually the order that we have to do this in is first you have to see somebody unexpected. That's my apologies. Because everybody here is already a minor covenant with somebody. So, who do you meet?
Oh, well.
Or what type of person? And we can kind of figure this out as we go.
So I don't know if this is unexpected, but what if it's someone who works at the Sunset Tower If it's something
Awesome.
like the Space Needle, is there like ticket takers there, or do you need to like? There's like staff up at the top.
Yeah. There's staff up at the top for sure. I think maybe this is somebody who is just getting off of their own shift, but still like in their work clothes. You notice them just like a few feet away, also taking in the sunset. Any particulars that you'd like to assign to them?
I didn't have anything in mind.
I
Hadn't thought that far ahead.
That's totally fine. Let's say that they are. Say that they are a lady, and I'm going to grab a name generator real quick. Yeah, you can see that her name tag from a few feet away says Kayla.
Okay.
And she kind of notices you noticing her. I was like, I usually don't leave until I've come up here already.
It's a great
It's,
view.
Yeah. Everything can just kind of fall away.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I like to come up here to whenever I need to clear my head, which I don't know. It feels like the world we live in. That seems like more and more often these days. I'm Scott.
Kayla. She looks like she's maybe like a few years older than you, but not enough that it's like weird. Probably, I don't know how old you've said Scott was, but she's 19, maybe 20.
Okay. Okay.
You come up here often then?
Yeah. It's a great place to. I don't know. It helps me think, and it's a great place to get away from it all. You know.
Yeah, I do. I have. Maybe I'll see you around again sometime.
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she kind of looks at her watch, scoots towards the elevators, and waves by as the door closes. All right. Are you ready, Leona?
I should be. Is that better?
Yeah.
You doing
Tell
good
us
now?
about your
Yeah,
crisis.
okay. Pardon? Oh, yes,
Oh.
my crisis. Gosh. God, I have so many crises. No, I'm kidding. My crisis is I am grounded by my eagle-eyed parent.
Ah, yes, you are grounded right now. Okay. So, that's in a serious situation. It is currently a dire crisis, you said. So, best way to deal with that is wolf at the door. Is that what you would like to do?
Yes. I am down to.
Okay. So, when you do what it takes to keep the wheels turning, you quell a crisis, yours or someone else's. Pick how you want to do it and what it costs you. You can either put in the work, you can call in a favor, or you can ask for help. Asking for help is going to give a condition to one of your fellow rebels. Putting in the work gives you a condition. And calling in a favor means that you have to basically ask one of your NPC friends what they could do to help you out. and they may face consequences for helping out in that way.
I think I will put in the work. I think Neela recognizes that she is being grounded for good reason, and kind of reluctantly is like, okay, if I make an effort, if I'm like really good and like, you know, get my grades up and like help with chores and like all this kind of stuff, maybe they'll like give me some more free reign again.
Yeah.
Stop getting on the case, man.
So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the effort that she makes. And if it marks a condition, let me double check which condition I take. Hmm.
Are there any that you're kind of thinking about?
Yeah, I'm debating between overwhelmed and insecure. I think overwhelmed. I will take overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed makes sense to me. You're kind of trying to juggle a lot all at once. And you're trying to do it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think obviously your parents take notice. Your grades aren't improved overnight, but they see you taking the time to study and make, you know, kind of an effort. How does that sense of being overwhelmed kind of show itself as it starts to creep up on you? Oh wait, I know. Never mind. You said last time that your covenant was with a sweetheart, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Angel. Angel's very understanding, but I think what we get is a montage of like your phone in different parts of the house, receiving a notification several times and not getting attended to until much, much later at night when you're kind of too tired to form a good response, or when the response is coming a little bit too late.
Yeah, like Angel's texting me, and I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm too busy, and I kind of like avoid my phone. It's like if I look at one more thing, it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
So I just like don't even look at it until like way later, and I'm just like, oh shit, like, you know, I'm texting him back like, I'm so sorry, like, you know, I didn't mean to like not get back to you sooner, like, you know, things like that.
And I think the message that you get back is straightforward, but doesn't really hurt any less for it. It's totally okay. I understand. I just miss you.
I miss you too. I promise I'm not gonna be this crazy busy forever. I just need to get my pants off my back.
One of those like bear GIF stickers with like the big hug and the hearts.
Oh, okay, cute. Love it.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, cast. Everyone has taken one go at this point, right?
Mhm.
Cool. We're going to get ready to take our first break of the evening, but before we do, we're going to take a minute to talk about something pretty serious and very dear and personal to me. As we mentioned on our inaugural episode, every single episode of The World Within You is going to be in support of one or more charities. And if you have not already heard, there is an ongoing struggle for trans rights happening across the US. Just this year alone, there have been 248 anti-queer bills introduced across the country, 238 of them specifically targeting trans people. I myself am a trans woman, and I am never worse in my mental health or in greater pain than when I see yet another piece of legislation like these coming across the boards of governors, the desks of governors, I should say. There are a number of bills right now in state legislatures that go as far as to ban trans-inclusive healthcare for people who are already adults, and one specifically in Oklahoma banning trans-affirming healthcare for people up to the age of 26. That's unconscionable. There is no reason to do this, to deprive people the right to self-determination, particularly that of adults. To respond in this moment to a particular piece of rhetoric that keeps going around, calling trans treatments experimental. Well, the first vaginoplasty was performed before we had discovered penicillin. Treating trans patients with hormone replacement therapy has been happening before we found out about ibuprofen. And we have been safely using puberty blockers to help trans youth since before we started prescribing Adderall. These are not new treatments. They are fundamental to how we care for trans patients. And that is why this episode is in support of the Campaign for Southern Equality. They're an organization that is specifically offering resources to people in southern states, which have by and large been the ones affected most by these laws, and making sure that they not only have resources to take care of themselves, but also that resources are being put towards these protracted legal battles. As these cases, as these laws get signed by governors, they are going to the courts. And that is ultimately where the right to self-determination for trans people is going to be decided. So please, if you have the time or funds to look into these organizations that are helping this battle, please do. Please donate and find ways to make sure that you're educated about these issues. The only way to win this fight is to have a united front. So with that, I think it's time for us to take our first break. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will be back so soon.
Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the world within you. As we left our rebels last time, we are in the middle of what we call the investigation phase of this game. And we're going to take a minute now to step outside of the process of doing moves and let our rebels catch up for a minute. And kind of figure out what's going on. Where do y'all end up meeting? Is it at somebody's house? Is it, do you end up going to your hideout? Where do y'all meet?
Y'all are
I think
welcome
we
to my
start at school after a day of school.
Hell yeah. Where at school? Is there like a specific teacher's bill or like a classroom that you go to? Is there a specific building?
I would like to think, and stop me if this doesn't spark joy, that like there's a main exit to the school where most people are leaving school, but there's all the other side doors. There's probably like one that's less used that we would like meet at as we leave, especially
There
if we have in the
is.
past like gone and tagged stuff after school.
Yeah, there is. And the reason people don't use it is it's an exit that's really like a fire exit, and then it opens immediately to like a hill right there. No sidewalk, anything. It's just like the concrete ends and then it's fucking hill.
We're young, we got legs.
Exactly.
think Sushi was just chilling on the rooftop until you guys like exit out the door.
I was about to ask who's the first one there. It sounds like Sushi is the first one there. Who's the first biped there?
Joe's always like ready
So
to
if
just pop
Scott
out.
comes in on all fours, he doesn't count.
Correct.
It's how you run up a hill, right?
You fucking cretins.
Yeah, it seems like maybe Joe, if he skips school a lot, would be there earlier, but that's just me.
Well, Joe's in their full malicious compliance phase right now because they've gotten
yeah.
a bunch of like dress code warnings for no reason because of their clothing. So they have like a full-on like button-up. They still have their regular jacket and scarf over it, but there is a tie underneath. And like they are wearing slacks, but it's the muddy boots under as well. It's like you can't dress code me if I'm following the letter of the law dress code.
Yeah.
You can't make me follow the rules if I follow the rules.
But it's definitely like a full-on awkward thing whenever Joe comes into school, and it's just a constant like I check in at the front office first because that's the policy now. Is this okay? And it's just been getting more and more formal over time.
There's always one thing that's probably breaking the rules, but you're like, is it?
You've been looking for a tailcoat to no avail for quite a while.
Yes.
So I have to imagine that Jordan probably meets up with Joe there, and it's like, maybe we could get something double-breasted. I know that's not, but like a suit vest might bring this all together, is what I'm saying.
Maybe, but and then Joe's like Constantining the tie and unbuttoning the top couple buttons, just to like.
Look, I couldn't deal with the tie. I get it.
It's really weird when you got the tie and the scarf on. It's like a lot.
I get that. Hey, did you see? Have you seen Miss Carver or whatever recently?
Yeah. When I was at the grocery store, they spotted me and then quickly turned to the other aisle.
Yeah, look, I'm not involved with her whole deal, but my parents are, and look, I was convinced that was like a hallucination, right? Like fully that I just like hit my head or something. But it seems like she's, I don't know, reversing course with this whole city project deal, I think.
One of y'all can decide who. Actually, you know what? The person who knows this is Neela. Neela, you found out from like 3 sources removed. Miss Carver didn't open up her own home, but after the fact, the student that she outed, she talked to a couple other parents and helped her find a place to stay, and then started trying to bring people in to smooth things over. It seemed like she didn't want to be the center of attention in all of it. She feels an appropriate sense of shame, but she has done a bunch of work since to make sure that student is safe and cared for.
Well, then I guess it is at that moment that Mila walks out the doors and immediately just knows that Sushi is around. So she just like holds up an arm, like she assumes that like Sushi's like hiding out on the roof or something. And she's just like just a little like, come on, kitty.
She just drops down and is like, I appreciate the foothold.
I try.
Cat talks.
Cat still talks.
We weren't. Unless I still have a concussion.
Unless we're also concussed. Yes, the cat still talks.
I think I'd know
I'm
if
not
I was
the
concussed.
cat.
You are Sushi.
Sorry.
You are Sushi.
Sushi has still deigned to talk to us.
See, this
All
human
right,
gets
I think
it.
at the point where she yells, "I'm not a cat," is when Scott walks in and he sees Sushi and he's like, Hey, cat.
It's like,
It's apparently it's no it's listen, we've established that it is sushi, it is not hey cat. We have to be respectful, or so we've been told. Hey, I heard about Miss Carver. Well, about that whole situation. Um,
Yeah?
like, okay,
The dragon lady?
yeah, like, listen, 2 or 3 sources removed or whatever, but apparently she's trying to help the kid out. I mean, obviously she doesn't want her name attached to it. Like I forget the kid's name out of character. But like they seem to be doing a lot better. Like they've kind of got a roof over their head style. Like things are looking up for them. But like with Carver doesn't want to be like super associated with that. Like I think she feels guilty, so she's trying to make it not about her and more about helping, which is good. Makes me
It
feel
does seem
better.
pretty genuine, but I feel like we're skating over the fact that it worked. Like, the fight in her brain, psyche, whatever, worked. That's
Yeah, that's nuts. Now that you mention it, that's bonkers.
but also
Did that?
That's
I don't know
banana
about
bread,
you,
banana
but
balls. Like
How
what?
did
I can't.
we do that?
I don't
think
know,
we're
but I kind of want
magic
to do it
now.
again. I'll be real with you guys.
And I'm gonna like point my hand and try and do a fireball.
What are you doing?
Sushi just
I'm
like
trying to
pats the
do the
hand on your
fire
hand.
thing again.
Paw, paw, paw.
You're gonna ruin
Yeah.
your super snazzy clothes, though.
Well, they seem to be fine. Like my scarf was on fire the whole time in there, and it's still fine here.
Well, maybe don't set things on fire out here because it might not. I feel like things
A
out
little late for
here.
that.
Oh,
Also,
This-
100%, your jacket being a little burnt would technically fit under dress code, maybe. Like if you want to.
Jovan,
yeah,
when you try to do the fireball, you don't do it. But like there's this thing I love in Aragorn, where he describes like reaching for magic as like pushing against like a pane of glass. You can feel the pane of glass, and you could absolutely reach across. But it would probably cost you. You have this feeling like whatever that power is, it would be very dangerous to pull it through.
interesting. I'm gonna save that one for later.
Is it worth it to show off to your friends?
I mean, there's a lot of things worth it, but I'm not gonna say right now.
Just in case you do ever want to do that, that move is called Vent.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Consequences are pretty steep, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Uh,
oh
so-
yes.
but yeah.
Very.
Setting things on fire with our minds aside, I don't know. This seems like a pretty unique and interesting thing that we did that was like actually helped the world. This isn't some superhero shit where we like beat up bad guys and they get back on the street. Like this changed someone's mind.
Yeah, no,
It
this is
reformed them. You might
Huh.
say.
I don't know. It seems
So-
to me like you humans change your mind all the time.
Yeah, we change
Yeah,
our mind about what
I
to
guess
eat
that's
and what goes
1
best
point
on
for us.
fries. We don't change our mind about stuff like that so easily.
What was that, Dan? We didn't quite catch it.
I said we reformed them, so that's 1 point for us over the criminal system.
well, oof. I don't know. just-
I think
So
I
what's
think like yeah, like people's opinions of other people is a harder thing to change, or like I just don't think like a teacher would go out of their way to like fix things like this if it hadn't been for what we did. It's kind of, I don't know, it feels both weird and powerful.
What's next? Are we gonna go incept the president then?
That
I mean,
seems
I'd
a
be
bit
a little
much.
bit down.
I mean, I don't think down, but like, can I like get over being grounded first, maybe?
It's fair. Local, maybe.
Yeah.
I like the image of like we're cresting the hill, and from here you can kind of see a lot of the city. And just so local, then who's
I mean,
next?
Joe brings up a good point. Like, how do we even know who we could do this to?
Well,
Surely we can't just pick a person and invade their mind.
I think it's something to do with that place we went in. It's got to be someone who has the same abilities as us, I think.
You think?
I think so, right?
There's kind of a crackle of static.
Headphones.
No, not in real life. In the world of the game, there's a crackle of static. And you hear distantly the sound of like the radio station. And
You hear that?
and it like in the world, it's maybe coming from somebody's headphones, maybe somebody else's phone. If any of you have like a boombox that you take when you go tagging, or like a speaker that you carry to class, it's coming in faintly, leaking into the world from your devices.
Joe's phone is one of those that has the ability to pick up FM signals. So I'm just gonna pull my phone out and like try and use that app.
Yeah, and you tune past the end of the dial. You hit 108 on FM, and then you go 109, 110, 115. And way, way out there, past where you should be receiving broadcasts from, civilian channels. You hear the station loud and clear. And it's not in words, but it's telling you you're on the right track. And that y'all can push forward and find somebody else to help. And as soon as it does that, it starts fading back.
Huh.
When you hear that, Dan, when you hear that, Scott, rather, immediately the person who comes to mind is the conversation that you had with Danny.
Well,
And actually, at the same time, Sushi, you think of that video that you saw, the Clown Prince.
Well, does anyone know in need of a few knights in shining armor?
I think I just might actually. Y'all know that bar I play at, right? The Reality.
Yeah. Cool place.
Or we play, yeah.
I mean, you're the opener, I guess that counts.
Damn.
Zig.
Disrespected. But anyways,
Anyway, I was there earlier, and I overheard Danny talking to a guy who sounded like a lawyer. He said there was some allegation of someone had video of him serving alcohol to a minor. they were going to post it online. He didn't know their name, but he had their handle. The Clown Prince.
The Clown Prince?
Clown.
Yeah.
I just... Well, the other day, this, very nice but very salty tasting human was, was crying over some... Well, I'm guessing it's one of those video things that you guys are talking about. And, yeah, she said it was the Clown Prince? Or at least, I'm assuming Sushi can read.
Yeah, you can read.
Okay,
Which is
so-
maybe a surprise to everybody else, but
I think we're all more surprised that you saw things on a phone when you don't own one that we don't know about. That's already amazing. Reading is a side note.
And it's like,
Wait,
You
oh,
are
yeah,
more
I
aware
saw
of
this
TikTok
video.
than we are.
and crying over it, and it sounded like she was... Well, she smelled very unhappy. And... Well, this, it was posted by the Clown Prince.
who among you is most social media savvy?
I don't think Joe is, but I think based on what we talked about, Joe would know who that is.
I do think Jordan would be like a social media kid.
Influencer?
Not an influencer. He does not have the ability to stick to anything long enough to do that, but he would be consuming social media constantly.
I think it's between me and Joe because like Neela does post her tags on Instagram.
I think
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, Quinton was supposed to be like VP of the AV club.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's how Joe knows who that is.
Okay, yeah. And immediately you're like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
I know that tool.
I think I've seen him on
You know-
Instagram actually.
Yeah, you know who Clown Prince is?
Yeah, the dude with the coiffed hair, Quinton. Looks like he puts way too much gel and only wears Axe.
Like, you may have known him before. That is a new development. That's in like the last. It was not that way before this school year, but it has definitely been the case since like late summer.
Hmm. That's all Jordan would know then. It's like, yeah, that quaff kid.
Oh yeah, I think I have class with him. He didn't always look like that, did he?
No, I don't think so. Wonder what happened.
Well, I don't know. It seems like too weird of a coincidence for two of us to have interacted with his brand of bullshit. So like listening for maybe more radio sounds. We should investigate that.
I think first we got to figure out if he's got a little touch of the secret sauce. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a terrible thing to call it.
What?
The thingy we could do now.
Spray paint magic. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, mayonnaise.
So as you bring up his name, you hear something over the radio, and it's a sudden shift in the music.
Sinister.
And it sounds like this is not the kind of thing that somebody would play at a radio station, but you hear like the most distant echo of carnival music.
Yo, I don't like this.
And as soon as you hear it, it's gone.
Change the station.
The hell is that?
Maybe Van D Sky would never see that on their station.
Yeah. Look, I don't know that we can make any solid assumptions, but that seems like a sign, right?
What? That the
Not
dude's a
as subtle as
clown?
Brick.
Both of those things. I don't know about you, but I'm raring to do more cool, otherworldly radio magic. We'll
I mean-
workshop that.
Well, we gotta figure something out first, right? We gotta get some info.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
This. Yeah.
I'm down, but I have to like sneak out tonight. I'm kind of grounded. Like,
What'd you do?
I don't know. My grades were too low. My parents grounded me.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Rude.
I kid, your grades are probably better than mine.
Uh-huh.
What was that, Sushi?
You still got room for food though?
Mm-hmm. I always have room for food.
Sushi just sort of like bats their head.
Okay, and I think with that, are you all ready to transfer back to investigation and everyday actions?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool. So, who would like to frame a scene first? You, particularly if you're going to go investigating the vassal, that would be pursue a particular goal in the city. It is a rebel action. And one of you would have to lead that action, but other people could follow along if they wanted to be part of the sequence of events. I wouldn't send everybody on those all at once. I think it's kind of more fun if you all approach it from different angles, depending on the character's expertise and connections. But yeah, who would like to start either with an everyday action or a rebel action?
If no one else has an idea, I can.
Please.
So Sushi's gonna like just walk up to Joe and just be like, "The funny human. Show me where this Quentin
Jordan was
is."
human.
I mean, first of all, thank you. I like to think of myself as pretty quick-witted. Sure. I mean, the
Somewhere
AV Club usually
Jordan is
meets.
sad he's not the funny human.
AV Club usually meets right now, but they don't like. Actually, I have an idea. I'm gonna open up my messenger bag. I'm gonna smuggle you into the school.
I love it.
Persona 5
All your
checklist.
little tail poking out.
Yes!
All right. Go ahead. Tell us what the AB Club looks like. We didn't have an AV club at my high school. I just want you to know, so I have no idea what would go on there.
It's a more like this is a little set closer to the modern day high school. So instead of a shop class, it's been converted probably into like a robotics class, and then that teacher who teaches that class probably is the host of the AV club as well. So I think we just go to one of the back buildings. Probably a less trafficked part of the school, closer to where there's like a gymnasium, and there's not many classes here, but there's like one big workshop style class with these large, like, instead of just like desks, they're tables with stools around them. And there's just like there's like a whole set of breadboards and circuits and stuff like that in the back, and then computers on the side for like coding and other things like that.
So the one thing that you notice when you walk in is that Quentin isn't there. Meeting is still going on kind of as per usual, but there's like every so often there's like a point of order in terms of like the club business, because you're still relatively early in the meeting. They're going over club business, budget stuff, and every so often there's just like a pause where the vice president should be doing something, and they're like, oh, shit. And then somebody else does it. What do you do?
I feel like Joe knows a lot of these people, but actually isn't technically a part of the club itself, despite the current president trying to recruit them in for a couple of years now. So they just like take a seat.
Joe, I'm so glad that you could make it. Just find a seat at the back. We'll be done with the business stuff and just soon.
Yeah, cool. Wanted to actually talk about some stuff about the festival coming up. I had some ideas that I think you guys might be interested in.
Oh, okay, yeah. And as they kind of conclude that business, you said it was the president was trying to recruit you, or somebody else?
They are the president now this year, but they were not previously.
They come over and they have like, specifically to show off like one of the cameras that they got, and like, yeah. So we got like the new SLR that does video.
Oh, that's cool. Dang, that's a nice lens on it. I need to get my hands on a new lens, actually. This one's kind of old, and I'll just pull one out of my pocket.
Well, you're always like, you're welcome to check it out if you're doing club business.
I don't think I'm ready to join yet, but just came by to hang. And I think at this point I have strategically placed my bag and opened it up so that there's like a viewing port across this whole situation.
So you're sort of like a nose just like poke itself out.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. But yeah, you came by. What's up?
Nothing. Just I wanted to talk about the festival.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all have anything planned for that. But I was thinking it'd be maybe cool, and I'd love to like work on this maybe from the photography side. Maybe we can like document it and like submit it to like one of the newspapers in town. I know we don't have one we don't have a school newspaper anymore, which kind of sucks, but
Yeah. I would love for you to roll connect here, because it seems like you're trying to convince this guy that you are worth his time. Would you say that you're putting up a false front and the kind of like lying to get him to like open up to you, or are you trying to convince him that like, yeah, we could do this cool collaboration?
I feel like in this kind of like Joe does have an ulterior motive. I was going to shift the conversation to be about Quentin, so maybe making it about Heat, if I could get a chance to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead, take us there.
Where's your VP, man? Looks like you've been running things solo.
Look, Quentin used to really like prioritize this, but like his social media started blowing up and he keeps blowing us off. He was mad last year when I won the race, but like, fair's fair. That's duties get divvied up, but I don't know. It seems like we might have to kick him out, but I think that's gonna cause a bigger dust up. That's why we haven't done anything yet. Yeah, I mean, the videos he makes, he would do something crappy.
That's a good point, actually. Like the stuff he does. Do you know where he does it out of? Like, does he just do it all at home, or is there like a place he goes to do all the tech stuff for it? Does he use equipment here?
He used to mix a lot of videos here, but yeah, I haven't seen him do that lately. There's like a computer cafe. Actually, reverse that. Rewind. They actually got like a media lab at the library downtown. I think he does it there.
Oh yeah, I gotta go see if maybe it's a good place to print some prints out. But
that library's got all sorts of resources, man.
Yeah, my usual place is running a little low on supplies.
Where do you do your prints, man?
Oh, I got a we got a little place just in case. It's kind of I like to keep it on the down low. Maybe ask me another time and I can tell you. It's mostly just for photography. I don't think it'd really be that useful for other stuff.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, if I remember correctly, that vote was pretty split though. It was like a runoff after a runoff, right?
Yeah, kind of, but like bylaws are bylaws. We came back the week after, and I don't know what was going on with him. I thought he was going to win in a landslide, but he didn't have the time to campaign after school all of a sudden. So I talked to some people. I got to talk about what I wanted to do, and they ended up voting for me.
Yeah, but if it becomes like a big drama thing, he might definitely start some stuff. I'm kind of hoping to talk to him about some of the stuff he's been doing and posting online. I'm not a huge fan, and I think a few other students aren't either. If you have any info on where maybe we can get in touch with him and just or anything he might be up to right now, and I think I'd like to make the check here.
Yeah, that is a great place to make the check. And you said you were going to roll against heat.
Yes, that is a weak hit.
That is a weak hit. So, on a hit, they'll give you a chance to make a case. They'll answer a few questions or do a minor favor that doesn't risk their own standing. So, what would you like here?
I'd like to know if they know what Quentin is planning to do next. I think they already revealed, where does Quentin hang out. And maybe if they could keep an eye out for me, if they do interact with Quentin soon.
I think you get to pick either know what the plan is, or you get to pick keep an eye out.
Yeah, do you know what he's working on, actually?
I don't know if you saw the stuff blown up online about him getting served alcohol, and he conspiratorially starts whispering, but that's his account, and he says it happened down at Reality, I guess.
Really?
But
they're usually pretty on it there.
Oh no, yeah, I don't know, anyway, he says he's working on that video, and it's gonna be like a big one, and he said he's dropping it end of next month.
Next month? That's wow.
I don't know. It's not soon, but it's it's gonna be one of those hour-long things, I guess.
Hey, thanks for telling me, Chris. I've just decided this person's name is Chris.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go meet some folks, but
yeah, that. Of course. Yeah.
You have my number. Why don't you text me for we can talk more about the festival plan?
Yeah. I'm pretty. I think I have your number. Bye.
And I will pick. I feel like I accidentally took Sushi's action, so I think that should probably count for mine.
Yeah, Sushi, is there anything that you want to do in this time and or space?
I think what Sushi originally wanted to do was get a sniff around of where this Quentin is, and see if she can't follow Quentin back. But this was a lot more informative than.
I will also give you the option through the school directory. Y'all could easily find his house and take Sushi there if you wanted. So you could potentially get a look that way.
I mean, I think as we're leaving and meeting back up with everyone else, I could drop you off. It's on my way home.
Sushi's for it. No one ever notices the cat.
Yeah. Michelle, your volume is a little low.
Oop.
I wonder. Yeah, there we go.
Ah,
That is
Whatever it
better.
is the cat.
And I'll just text what I learned into our group chat.
Cool.
If someone else has time to go check out the media thing, I gotta do something at home.
really long. Interesting.
So, when you get dropped off, Sushi, it's not at like a, like a duplex or a house or anything. It's in the city. It is part of like a big kind of rundown apartment building. And the first and most obvious obstacle is that the front door is definitely locked.
Is there a windowsill?
Yeah, there's some windows that you can get to if you like go around the back. There's like a fire escape. It's a ways up, but you're a cat, so you kind of pick your way to different footholds, and you're eventually cruising up this fire escape like a pro.
Nice. So Sushi sort of just like is you can like sort of like hear like Sushi just sort of like jump, maybe like a little bit of a clatter of claws against like the fire escape.
Mm-hmm.
Freeze, and then just like keeps heading up. Quentin's probably on like what, floor 3 of the apartment complex, maybe?
Yeah, sure. Let's say floor
I'd assume
3.
the directory would have his apartment number.
Yeah.
Well, didn't go in through the front, so.
Yeah. So,
312 is going to be on the 3rd floor, kind of a logic, I assume.
Yeah.
and then on floor 3, like you just sort of like see like Sushi just sort of like peek at various windows and then like hop through sills until they arrive
Yeah.
at what's maybe 312's window.
Yeah, you end up at a balcony, and inside you see like a pair of like younger kids. They're both speaking Spanish to each other and watching some cartoons. Right now they don't notice you, and the balcony is like the door to the balcony is ajar.
So I think would this be an appropriate time to roll a pass beneath notice for?
What are you trying to do?
I think Sushi's gonna try and like sort of just like hop down from the balcony. I'm assuming this is the correct apartment complex. It might not be, but
It on the inside of the door, you can see there's like it says 312 on the inside. I don't know why. I don't think that's how apartments work, but just to remind yourself where you live.
So
Maybe
Sushi's
if they
gonna...
made their own thing and it says like the Allegra household, number 3.
Yeah.
I think
An art
and
book.
like a very like nice, like cheerful. I'm also thinking it's like maybe like done in like bright crayon. Like
Yeah.
like,
It's
the
a
same
kid's
height
art
as the
project.
kids.
Yeah.
So
And you see a drawing of like it's a family of 6.
oh, that's cute actually. So Sushi's gonna try and just sort of like squeeze it like you know like where how like cats can like somehow manage to squeeze their way into like the tiniest of like little cracks. So she's just gonna like just pad their way through and then squeeze through this tiny opening in the doorway.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and roll a pass beneath notice. You're going to check against infamy.
Miss horribly.
So I believe you do get experience on one clock or the other when you miss in the when you miss in the city. You get world, I think. Do you get void?
I think it's void.
I think it's void, and then if
Okay.
you miss in the void, you get world.
Cool. So go ahead and mark void. What's interesting here? The kids immediately notice you. And you're a magic cat, so you can understand exactly what they're saying. But they kind of like, oh, a kitty! And they scoop you up and shut the door behind you. And they're not like hurting you, but they are giving you probably more attention than you ever could have desired.
Must resist urge to scratch.
Yeah, so you're being loved up on. What are you doing here?
I think Sushi is gonna indulge in some pats because, hey, free pats. And I think Sushi's actually gonna end up like wasting like a good like 10-20 minutes just like rolling around on the floor with these kids because they are very cute and they're also giving me free attention, free pats. Before trying to escape the clutches of these two small children.
You were somewhat rescued at that juncture because you hear a voice from the back saying, "Hey, shut up! I'm recording now." And they get quiet. But they also like go back to the TV and they turn the volume way down. What do you do?
Sushi is going to head towards the direction of that that voice. I'm imagining this is kind of like a living room with like is this like a living room with like a dining attached and then like maybe like a bedroom or two?
Think smaller than that. It's like a living area with a kitchen, and then a bathroom, and then 3 other rooms kind of off of it.
Okay. And so Sushi's gonna like head towards like the side rooms, like towards the direction of where they heard like the "Hey, I'm recording."
Yeah. You kind of nose your way into the slightly open door. And it is muggy in here. It smells like teenager. And facing the computer, you can see Quentin Allegra, post-shower, hair not coiffed, kind of bent over a computer working on a video. It's like they issue laptops at school for y'all, but they aren't really anything worthwhile, and he's just repeatedly trying to do what sounds like voiceover for his video. Go ahead, now that you're in this room, you're looking for information. I would love you to roll against heat after you tell me what you are trying to learn from this excursion.
I think what Sushi's trying to learn is, let's see. So Sushi doesn't really care that much about these guys, except like, hey, they're causing harms to some of the humans in my territory, and these are my humans, and my humans are interested in it. So I think Sushi's more interested in what's up with the video that has to do with Danny, because that's like much more immediate, like, hey, this is affecting the very tired human. So I think what Sushi's gonna look for is information about like the what is it, the mocked up recording that is being done, that's apparently about like what is it, I can read my notes. Yeah, the alcohol. Getting served.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll heat.
That's a weak hit.
Cool. On a hit, you'll have a clear idea of how to get that information, but I'm going to give you one or two of these requirements. Specifically, you are going to have to pick, I believe, yeah, you're going to have to tick heat to do it. You can listen in and like get a clear idea of what Quentin is working on, but and the details of the video, but you are going to he is probably going to catch you in the process.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. So go ahead and mark heat, and you kind of like creep up behind Quentin, and you're watching the video, and the specific details that you come away with are, this isn't something that would be visible to just anybody, but he's doing voiceover for the part where he hands over the ID, and it is specifically him handing up the ID that he has over to Danny. And there's kind of this flash of not light around the ID that looks like him invoking the void. And so when Danny looks at it, what he sees is a proper ID and hands it back. That basically confirms to you that whatever Quentin is doing, he has access to this same sort of power. And the video kind of plays on, and there's one other little piece of information that you get, which is like on his on the corner of his monitor, kind of behind the program that he's working in, he switches files really quick, and the plan that he has is he's going to put up a QR code to the video on one of the big screens during the Halloween fair that people can scan, and then everybody's going to be able to watch it. He's figured out a way to take over their monitors for just a couple of minutes. But as you get close and you see that, he turns around and he's like, "What the? Who let this cat in here?"
Wow!
And you tear off, and he's like, "Shit!" And he goes and he opens the hall, the door into the hallway, and is like trying to shoo you out with a broom.
Can I just crawl? I imagine Sushi just sort of does the really annoying thing where she pads right over the keyboards, doing some mass keyboard presses, and is getting actually has to get literally swept out the door.
Yeah. He definitely sweeps you away, but he definitely knows what you look like now. Good thing you're just a cat. All right, and I think that's where we'll call that one. Who would like to go next? If you find yourself in a place where you are not ready to investigate, that's fine. There are other valuable ways to spend your time.
Are you still thinking, Tate, or should I go?
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Okay. I would like to, because I have two conditions. So I would like to try and clear a condition, and I believe you said that was let my hair down.
You can let your hair down or check in.
I will let my hair down.
Okay. So, what do you do to blow off steam or find comfort?
That's a good question. I think tagging is kind of like part of how Mila like blows off steam, like kind of like it's like the getting out, the wandering around, the finding the right place, like you know, like just the act of like being out in the city and just like feeling the kind of like feeling like the pulse of the city almost, kind of like
Yeah. Remind us how you get around. Like, I imagine this is after hours. You've gone home. Your parents are like either watching TV in their room or like conked.
yeah. Dang, what does I feel like Mila maybe is she walking? Is she riding a bike? I think she rides a bike.
Cool. Yeah. So you kind of like hop and scoot out of the place where you live very quietly, pick up your bike, and then you're cruising through town. An absolute menace.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody meet up with you for this?
Anyone want to come tagging? I'll pop it in the group chat.
That was a question I had, is if we can at this point have learned what Sushi has learned?
Sushi, how would you have disseminated that information?
So I think what Sushi does,
Group chat.
because Sushi does not have like electronic access. No siree. Also, as much as Sushi can read, Sushi does not have the pause in order to do the whole typing things. The keyboards are, even mechanical keyboards are not made for pause. So I think what Sushi does is like sort of hop on, just walks on, like strolls onto a subway and heads towards Neela's house, I think, to not only have food, because hey, I got you information, give me food.
I am helpful.
There's a tree right outside, like right next to Neela's house, like in that same like yard in the property. Like it's like on this side of the fence. Like the fence is here, the tree is here, the house is here. And the tree has a branch that comes out in front of like Neela's bedroom. Like it's perfect. Like so she can scale the tree and like hop right into like through the window to Neela's bedroom. So if like Sushi doesn't want to be seen, like she's got this like covert way.
Yeah.
Neela's maybe stage an escape via this window branch once or twice, potentially.
Yeah.
Multi-purpose branch.
Hey, it works.
Because what I'd love to do is actually, for mine, do check in, and maybe this is the same scene.
Sick. Yeah, I love that.
But we can do
yeah.
Neela's first.
No, but like, where are y'all meeting to do this tag and hang out? And how do you, Jordan, get there?
Well, I let Leona choose where Neela wants to go tag, if you have thoughts.
Yeah, so
I
like
also have thoughts.
no, give me your thoughts.
At least where I live, a lot of tags end up being on like train cars at train stations, especially when it's super late at night and they're all like in a yard.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I have to imagine that there's at least a smallish one further in the city where like the large major distribution will be like outside of it. And it's really easy to like sneak into those places and be between trains and very unlikely to be seen. I have to imagine Jordan, out of his many hobbies, one is rollerblading, and so he has rollerblades that he uses to get around the city. He likes that it's like smaller and more mobile, so he can like get between stuff that you're not really supposed to skate between. And yeah, that would be, I think, one of the rotating places that they tag, since they get everywhere.
Just
Yeah.
sit in like the baskets, like in between the handlebars on my bike. Like if Sushi wants, like Sushi's been fed for her information. If Sushi wants to join, she's welcome.
I think Sushi is just gonna is literally napping in like the loaf position in the basket. So like if you want to talk to Sushi, you have to wake her up.
Got it.
Cool. Go ahead and roll that lack roll.
Okay.
We'll get both of these rolls at once. I think actually. So go ahead
Right.
and roll
Fealty is what it's gonna
fealty.
be. A weak hit.
Perfect. So
Miss.
okay, interesting.
Don't like that.
Let's. I mean, these things happen. Go ahead first. Hey, tell us what of the two things that you're gonna pick between healing a condition and one of you intensifying the covenant.
I don't really know what intensifying a covenant would do, so if only because Neela has 2 conditions, is it possible for me to hand off that remove a condition to?
Yeah. Yes. You can heal her conditions as part of that move, for sure.
Thank you. Okay, so I will heal 1 condition.
And I think that this is, at least for the first part, if you don't mind, like much more of a like chill. Just I think Jordan sort of like looks to Neela as to like how tagging is supposed to be done because he's very new at it, and he's perpetually new at everything. But so he looks to the rest of the crew to like how does one do this thing, and so it is really for a bit just instruction, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a really like chill hangout type of vibe at 1st. Like, you know, Neela like shows up to the place. Jordan's there. She kind of like sets the bike aside a little bit, like not too far nearby, because like all of her spray paints are on it. And then she's just like talking Jordan through, like trying to figure out what your like vision is for a tag, and like how she got to like Mandelas and marigolds being like her theme, and like why she picks the colors she picks, and like all this kind of stuff. And then she like
to get drips, things like that.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. And then she picks like a train color, and she gets to work and she starts like painting these like marigolds on them. There's like, you know, like a big couple of marigolds and a couple of smaller ones, and I think the message she tags is like the world would be like something like the world would be better if we loved one another, kind of that kind of a vibe. Like that's kind of like the message that she kind of like tags in the middle, and it's surrounded by like marigolds, and like the writing is in pink, the marigolds are yellow and orange, and there's like teal blue accents like trying to make the whole thing pop. Like it's a vibrant art piece, you know.
And then maybe to add to that, on like around that on the train car, Jordan does still more have like a sketchy style because he's used to drawing. Makes like a mountainscape basically, and just like in his own writing above that, it's like in a world with, or like in a desert of problems, ... and then this.
Neela absolutely like loves this. Like she's already passed you like a purple and a green can of like spray paint. Like she's just like, oh dude, yeah, that's super sick. Like that's so good. You know, like this like kind of like
I don't have enough yellows and oranges to make it really a desert, but
oh wait, do you need desert colors? Here, hang on, I got you. And
purple works. He puts a stripe. It's like the painted desert a little bit. There's a purple stripe in it.
Those are like yellows and browns too. Like she's got everything.
So it's actually important because by doing check-in, you all are triggering each other's hangout moves.
Ooh.
Neela, your hangout move that Jordan is triggering is when you visit the gardener, they give you something impractical but important. A book, an accessory, etc. So long as you keep it with you and draw strength from it, once per investigation, you may turn a Mist City move into a weak hit.
Oh. So yeah, I think it's paint. Jordan's had to sell a bunch of his like art supplies, and he didn't really have a lot to begin with, so.
Oh yeah, she's
like,
yeah, she gives you a bunch of cans of paint, and she'll be like, here, and like, here's some that I don't use as like, here's some of these colors I don't use as often because they're like darker colors, and she goes for like these vibrant pastels and shit like that. But then she'll like give you like a brown, and she'll be like, "Oh fuck, I should have given you that earlier." Whatever, like just gives
He'll
you.
still use the purple though. Again, he's from like that very deserty area of like the southwest, and does make like a painted desert like purple stripe through it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. So conversely, Neela, you trigger the move when you hang out with the vagabond. You can tell them about a dilemma you're facing. Whether through the vagabond's advice or otherwise, the architect will tell you the immediate consequences of what each choice would be.
And I did this on purpose because I'd love if this was a conversation on what Sushi found out and what we do about that. But it's up to you.
No, absolutely. That does sound like a good way of doing things. Does that count as a dilemma? Like what Sushi found out? I mean, I guess it does actually, because like Sushi did tell us that Quentin's found out
QR code thing.
Yeah, the QR code thing. And so she'll tell you about it, and she's like, dude, like Quentin's found, like Sushi was telling me Quentin found this QR code. She's obviously food coma right now, but like, she'll get the zoomies. She'll get the zoomies in like an hour whenever we're back at my place.
Yeah, maybe she'll wake up in time to add some paw prints or something to this.
Yes, that'd be cool. Yeah, like a QR code in the gymnasium? Dude, that's awful.
Not in the gymnasium, just to be clear to the fiction.
And the festival.
This would be at the festival. There's like a couple spots where they have like, LED billboards. And it would be in the street fair.
Ooh, that's even worse. Okay, sorry. Even worse. In the street fair on those LED things. Forget about like.
It's like, yeah, and I mean,
okay, like
I'd set up a stall so I could use that to tag like a screen and then get kicked out, but
yeah,
that's just one.
That's just one. Like, there's gonna be multiple. This is like digital stuff, Like, I just don't even know how to deal with it. Like, okay, it's one. Okay, maybe this is like a dumb way of putting it. But, like, it's one thing if we're, like, in high school and you're fucking around with high schoolers and, like, it's just, like, within school, Like, it doesn't go home to our parents, But, like, it's a whole nother thing if you're taking this ball game to, like, a whole new freaking arena. Does that make sense? Like, to take it out of school and to, like, do shit that's gonna, like, mess with other people outside of school.
Yeah, I guess. But, I mean...
Like I said, it's a weird... line to have, but do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Just, I know I've been to a few different schools at this point, and even if nobody back there remembers me, I remember, like, the shit people put me through. So, like, yeah there's a difference, but I don't know that there's that much of a difference.
Yeah.
I'd rather we figured out a way to deal with this at the source.
No, absolutely. Like, I don't even know. Like, how do we stop him? Do we, like, try to stop the... I guess we stop him, right?
We know for sure he's magic. Just gotta figure out how to do magic on purpose, I guess. Magic seems wrong.
It's a weird word.
Keep spray painting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Magic? I guess that's the word. Just feels kind of weird.
I don't know, we need to figure out how to jump in his brain, right? Should we do that now? Is there more we can gather? I don't know.
God, I don't know. How did I even get there last time? I was tagging. Do I have to paint a door? Like, is that what I have to do now? Like, surely not.
So there was one thing that kind of came together, and your phones start kind of singing that static noise, and you kind of flash back to the moments before you found yourself in the castle. You had painted a mural, and you had all basically like stood back and looked at it, and as Sushi added like the finishing touch of like touching it with her paws, it started moving.
Ah.
And you felt you could smell the paper and you could smell flowers on the other side, and you all just kind of walked forward into it. The place that you all tagged was tied in to the plans that she had. It was actually out back from the reality. It was on the kind of alley that adjoins that building. So, kind of stands to reason, if you were to tag somewhere that was important to this plan, the kind of magic or power of the castle would show you what they imagined.
I think Mila's like kind of like talking through the problem out loud, and I guess like as she kind of puts those kind of pieces together, she's like, well, what if we like tags like with like the back of one of those signs, like the
Maybe.
back of where the QR code's gonna be, or like something in the festival, like that could work. Like that's kind of like what we were doing the last time, you know?
Yeah. Or maybe where he plans on taking them over?
Yeah, maybe. Something to do with the festival. Somewhere near the festival, I think, is what we gotta do. And then she kind of like takes a couple steps back, looks at the kind of
and at that moment, the consequences of your failed roll catch up to you.
Shit.
There is security. They are shining a light down here. How are you all going to deal with this problem? And that's going to affect whatever the consequences of the roll are.
I mean, damn, I was about to take a picture for Instagram, so I'm not going to let that slip. We just did a really sick mural, so I'm going to take a picture real quick, and then I'm going to grab my bike and bolt, ideally.
To give Neela the shot to do that, I don't know if I'm allowed to. I would love to, I guess, like, maybe try and bluff my way out of this. Like, try and get to them before they get around the corner.
You're trying to make them pay attention to you, so I would love you to make a stand and check against blood.
Sure thing.
Please.
It's a weak hit.
Okay. Choose two. They don't immediately cause problems. Your words shake them, or they spend some time focused only on you. Pick two of those.
All right, so I would love to say they don't cause you immediate problems, and your words shake them. However, I don't know, am I allowed to use shadow moves on this? Because I have a shadow move that's very relevant to this right here.
That would be calling on the Void's power in the city. So I would make you do vent.
Well, then I think I'll just roll with they don't cause immediate problems. And I guess it's relevant to say they spend time focused only on you, as much as that's going to cause some consequences.
Yeah, so, Neela.
Yeah.
You're given a chance to scoot out of here, which is probably good, because if your parents found out about what was going on, that's additional grounding.
Yeah.
However...
My parents are too busy to give a damn, I guess.
Maybe
not.
Well, we'll see how the scene plays out, but I think the upshot is that the security officer is going to have your bike.
Nah, shit.
Her bike or my rollerblades or both? Mm-hmm.
The bike.
Okay.
It's not going to send you home without rollerblades. Yeah. So what do you say when you're kind of like getting that attention?
Yeah, I think he like rolls up and he's like, "Glad you two are here. I was saw some suspicious people walking around that way," pointing the wrong direction. Like a bunch of spray cans and stuff, and he's like holding some of his like black and white ones. They're just leaving these around and littering. It didn't look great, and he's just straight up trying to bluff his way out of this.
Okay. So this is a weak hit, so you're gonna mark a condition.
Yeah. I like the idea that since he's held up his, not like the one that Neela gave him, that they are gonna take the spray cans, and maybe he's like further angry about like, come on.
Yeah.
Can't show it, but he's just like a little like
Angry. Great. Look, you're lucky I'm not calling your parents right now. Get out of here, and I don't want to see you down here again. All right?
seething internally, "Sir, yes, sir," and starts run 1 foot hopping, putting rollerblades on as he's just like getting out of there.
Oh, you don't tag with the rollerblades on?
Well, I mean, not. This is like a gravel field with tracks through it. This is not on cement. If this is a railroad.
Yeah, fair enough.
He
I was
out
thinking
here
of it like the way they do rails on like subways and stuff.
I mean, if it's a subway rail station, sure. But I was imagining like.
I was imagining gravel, yeah.
Yeah. You're good. You're
I
good.
was imagining
That's
that.
what you're imagining.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you kind of hop, put your blades back on, and scoot on out of there.
At least a few steps in the gravel where he has to like crunch sideways all awkwardly.
Sushi, you are woken up by a man peeking over the edge of the basket going, "What the hell?"
I think Sushi wakes up. It like has just been like is well fed, has been just napping, and is woken up really incredibly abruptly by like a bright light shining in like their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's gonna be like, and just scratch this random human. Like, where is my human? Damn it!
Shit! And you scurry off into the night as the officer takes custody of this bike.
God damn it. No bike for me.
Sorry about it.
That's okay. At least I got away. I got my picture.
Very
So,
quickly catches up and sorry about the bike. Tried.
Sorry. Shit happens. I can walk.
I think with that, it's Dan's turn.
Oh, goody. What's even left to do at this point?
So you can always check in either with one of your friends or with another covenant that you have. You can read the wind, or you could start the first delve, and we can kind of talk about what that looks like.
Well, I think in light of some of it might be a good time to check in with old. That's with a confidant, right? Or a covenant, right? Check in with old Danny boy.
Okay. So, set the scene for me. You are meeting with one of your major covenants. You're going to trigger Danny's hangout move. Is this at the reality, or is this elsewhere?
I figure it's at the reality.
And what's the occasion?
Probably, probably one of their open mic nights where Scott likes to play, and he got there a bit early to set up and also chat with Danny, which is just a thing that he does, or that they often do. And I don't know. I feel like normally I would jokingly ask him for a drink, but under the circumstances, may not be the greatest time for.
Yeah. Yeah. He does. What do you drink when you have something to drink at the bar? Do you go for like Coca-Cola? Does he have like a list? I imagine he has a list of mocktails because like this is a place where not only teenagers but adults hang out. So like has kind of a good mix of everything. What's your poison when it comes to the reality?
I usually ask him for a a virgin rum and coke, which would just be a coke.
He does add like a splash of actually what he does is he takes brown sugar and he muddles brown sugar in the bottom. So it has like a little bit of that like extra little layer of flavor. But yeah, otherwise just Coke.
So, how's the case looking?
Well, not ideal right now. They have it sounds like they think that video that the clown prince mentioned is going to come online, and at that point that's when they can actually move forward. But I've tried reaching out, asking them not to publish. I've tried to check my tapes from that night, but I for whatever reason this kid just doesn't show up on them right. So, kind of stuck. It's a nightmare. Can you go ahead and roll me fealty right now? Or no, sorry, it's not fealty for NPC covenants. Oh, actually, you don't roll anything. Nice.
You just
triggers the hangout move. So pick one of the following to learn about: vassal's current activities, a new contact who needs help, or a threat to another rebel's role.
Let's say the vassal's current activities.
Okay.
Seems like he's preoccupied with getting that video out, but if there's anything else he's doing in time, then it...
Yeah, so he's, as you kind of talk about the case, he talks about how the account keeps posting like pictures of stuff from the street fair, and there's a specific spot kind of in Broadway where like they'll shut down the whole street for a couple of days at the fair, and it's only walking traffic during that time. And there's this one picture specifically of a billboard in that part of town where all of the Clown Prince is written is best seats in the house. And given everything else that you know, that building is probably the one that they're going to definitely hijack, should they choose to. You also pick up from this tweet that it was sent from one of the computers at the downtown library. And it, as you kind of look through the feed, you can see like the two places that these messages get sent from are a computer at the downtown library and at the school. Like, for whatever reason, they're not getting sent from the part of town that he actually lives in.
Huh. So I guess he spends a lot of time. I guess that's where he would spend most of his a lot of time then.
Yeah, if I knew what he looked like, I'd cut him off and try and have a conversation about it, but I saw the other kind of stuff that he posts. I don't think he's already gunning for me. I don't think that would end well. I've lawyered up. I've done what I can. You know.
I know you told me to stay out of it.
Gotti, what are you doing?
Nothing. Just heard some rumors at school, and like, you know, people talk. And if you happen to see a kid around my age with incredibly comically coiffed hair and smelling of certain body sprays,
That guy?
you want to pull aside the conversation.
No, I remember the quaff.
It's a
I
hard
remember
walk.
the quaff.
I swear he didn't always have that.
Who cares? That helps me a lot. Gives me something to look for in my footage, at least. Can't hide hair like that. Can't hide hair like that.
No matter how much he probably should. For the sake of all common taste.
Wow.
But
Thanks,
dang,
Scotty. Means a lot.
no problem. But if you're going to go after him, this is the part where I tell you to be careful.
You know. Please. I'm not going after him. We're just, you know, the adults will deal with what the adults have to deal with.
Just don't get in over your head.
It's between me and the city. Everything will be fine. You'll see. Seriously,
No,
kid. You don't gotta worry about me. One way or the other, I'll make it through.
You know I'm rooting for you. You make the best rum and coke in town.
Don't say that too loud, twerp. The evening kind of like goes on and maybe the conversation continues, but you watch him look out at the bar, a little bit like he's getting ready to say goodbye to it. Like he's talking a pretty big game, but he's worried. And I think that is as good a time as any for us to take. How are we doing for time, gang?
It is 11:38.
Okay.
Well, your time zones and all that.
Yeah. Let's.
We are 10 minutes short of 3 hours
Yeah.
on my account.
Let's go ahead and call it there tonight. Thank you, everybody. This has been The World Within You. Our wonderful cast from all across the web, as provided by the wonderful people at Neon Lights Roleplay. Let's go ahead and take this out one at a time, starting, of course, in reverse order with Tate Washburn.
Hello, Twitch. My name is Tate Washburn. You can find me at Tate the Terrific on itch, I guess, and Twitter, because I'm going to stay there until it burns to the ground. But what you should really do is follow this channel's Twitter, Neon Lights Roleplay, or Neon Lights... I got it wrong again for the first time in a while. It's on the chat. You will be able to find it because the people who run that are org members who are funnier than me. And also, you should join us on our Discord where we meme and chat and do all the cool things. And it's also, we pull players sometimes for this. There's a whole process and all that. It's real fun. But yeah, I've had a good time being a impish little guy, and I hope you had a fun time watching.
All right. Let's bring it on down to Landy Dan.
Hey, that was me. I'm Land the Dan. Like Tate said, Twitter is not burned to the ground yet, so I'm still there. You can follow me at Land the Dan. I tweet periodically about wrestling and video games, and hopefully in the next couple weeks popping off about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Go Birds.
Go Bird team.
Hell yeah.
We all like birds here.
What's wrong with the birds? What do you have against birds? Do I need to report you to the bird police, aka Sir Heckelot? But yeah, I don't know. I have a Twitter. I use it sometimes. That's about all there is to me. And tonight I played Scott, your man with a guitar.
Oh yeah. Let's scooch it on over to Milan.
Hey, I'm Milan. I was playing Joe, also apparently known as the Funny Human, so I'm still holding that badge of honor. I am also known as Mallard Man on the internet. You can find me over on Twitter as twitter.com/MallardMan with an underscore right on the end. On Twitch is just Mallard Man. We are coming back with another dub club this Saturday on my Twitch, where I will be playing with the lovely It's the Riddler and Hoosha Kid. We're going to be playing some video games. Don't know which one yet. We're going to figure that out. Yeah. I think that's all I have to shout out for now. I'm not in any other productions at the moment, so just going to pass it along.
Hell yeah. That means it's over to Michelle.
Hey, it's me, Michelle. I don't exist on social media, so don't go looking for me, ever.
Cats don't have social media.
Yeah, I'm a cat. I am literally a cat. And literally a cat in this game, too, because I play Sushi, who is a literal cat. And cats apparently don't have social media unless you count people taking photos and posting pictures of them. Does that count as social media?
It's like human moderated, so meh.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it for me. Oh, also, once again, y'all should go take another look at the charity link that we're posting here, because it's really important and y'all should support it. Or at least, look into it, please.
The next person is Leona Maple.
That's me. Hello, my name is Leona. You can still find me on Twitter at the Leona Maple, and that's where I'll be till it too burns down to the ground. And that's the best place to find me. Follow me and keep up with what on earth it is that I am doing. Except, next week, it might actually be great to tune into my Instagram story, maybe. So go follow me over there at the Leona Maple, because I'm doing some really cool stuff on February the 10th. So pay attention.
Is that when you're unveiling all your cool graffiti?
I wish I sincerely wish I was as cool as Neela. She is cooler than I am. But I'm gonna be doing something nerdy cool very soon. I'm hoping that they'll let me post a little sneaky peeky to my Instagram story. So to just saying. But until then, please support the charity and please take care of yourselves. Yeah, I'm out.
All right, and I guess that just leaves me. Thank you once again to this wonderful, beautiful cast. I am so lucky to get to run this show with this table at this Neon Lights Roleplay. Who am I, though? I'm Legendary Vermin. You can find me as Legendary Vermin on all the places on the internet that matter. That is, of course, Itch, Twitch, YouTube, Tumblr, and even as I pour gasoline on the garbage fire, that is that website, Twitter. You can find games that I've made on Itch. You can find role-playing that I do on YouTube. But of course, the best places to find me with any sort of regularity is here on this channel. Actually, this coming Thursday, I'm going to be in Last Transmission, run by the wonderful Meg Mysteria, where we are delving into a great big space place full of horrible horrors. That will be a lot of fun, and I will try very hard not to get eaten. Of course, next Wednesday, you can also catch me on this channel's Digimon Spectacular, a show known as With the Will. Like Michelle said earlier, please, please, please go check out Campaign for Southern Equality. This is a really, really difficult, but also really, really crucial time for a lot of queer people living in the United States. It is not easy to relocate in the face of these laws, and they are, of course, affecting the people who are most vulnerable in society and most often used as a prop for political machinations, and that is, of course, children. If you care about kids, you help them live longer, and that's why we want trans healthcare for kids. That's all there is to it. It is good, better for long-term outcomes. All that said, thank you again for tuning in. This is a wonderful show. We could not have it without you, our wonderful audience, and I hope to see you here again in a month for the next episode of The World Within You. And as we kind of fade out here, before, you know, the last little bits of this show tonight are done, there's a veil that is kind of pulled apart for a moment, and we pass through to the other side. We are in a crowded space full of tents and sort of carnival sounds. We hear chatter, we see people preparing their acts, and we see somebody who looks very much like not Jovan, excuse me. Someone who very much looks like Quentin Allegra. In a snakeskin coat, walking between the booths. They see a performance on a stage, and it looks a lot like that girl who was crying in the hallway earlier, repeating that same embarrassing action again and again for the laughter of the crowd, until the moment that it's not getting laughs or attention anymore. And this snakeskin jacketed Quentin moves behind it, behind the pedestal that she stood up on, and pulls a lever. And when he comes back around, there's somebody new standing up there to be ridiculed. And the crowds come back. And that's where we leave you for the evening. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm gonna keep saying this.